is. Life is so complicated. I'll just show up. If someone's there, so be it.
Perfect.
Ireland, South Africa, Spain, woohoo!
Ah,
India,
awesome.
Ohio,
Asturias, Spain. Buenos días, buenas tardes.
Nigeria, Brussels. Oh, Brussels, that's you. Hi.
It's really different parts of the world, huh? Like literally from one end, East Coast US, West Coast US to the other end.
Yeah, we're very international over at Cocharia. Um, cool. So, hi everyone. I'm Magda, and I will not be here on the screen after this because I'm just here to press some buttons. This is our business of coaching webinar, and my lovely co-conspirator Nishmita is who's in charge. And her lovely guest today is Sonal, who's joining us from Brussels, as I just remembered. So yeah, so let Nishmita introduce everything. But hi, everyone. If you want to say hi on chat, I will be on chat most likely. And that's it from me. Nishmita.
All right. Thanks, Magda. Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to have you today. I am very, very excited about today's webinar because it's going to be on LinkedIn. And like Magda said, we have the lovely Sonal, who is our LinkedIn expert here today with us. Just FYI, Sonal, I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I do think that everyone introduces themselves best when I'm talking. But I do want to say, when you after this webinar, please go have a look at Sonal's LinkedIn and have a read of her articles because I personally enjoyed them so much. But over to you, Sonal.
Very good morning, afternoon, and evening. Hey everyone, I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. My name is Sonal. I got to know these wonderful folks in Cocharia, maybe like some of you because of studying. I'm studying to be a coach, and the world of coaching has opened up very interesting possibilities and lots of learning, like I'm sure for a lot of you, right? Self-reflection, etc. Firstly, Magda and Nishmita, thank you for having me. It's an absolute honor because I've seen some of your past panelists, and so it's great to be in such august company. I am someone from an HR background, spent lots of years in human resources, probably like some people in some of the participants today. Born and brought up in New Delhi. Moved to South America for a little while, worked there as well, came to Europe for an MBA and then worked some more. And then some time ago decided to venture out in the big, bad, wonderful, beautiful, scary world of entrepreneurship. So that's as far as I'm concerned. I'll go into a little bit more detail in the course of the presentation as well. I do insist, Nishmita already said it, at the end of this presentation, not right now, because right now you are here. I want you to be focused here. If you need to go get pen and paper, do that. This is one of those workshop type things. I'm going to try and make it as interactive as possible, in the sense that there's going to be some thinking on your side, as opposed to just, passive listening. You've got this playing in the background while you're ironing, you're folding clothes, or maybe that's just me, I don't know. But I don't want you to be doing that. I want you to be focused, because I've got a presentation prepared that I hope will be very, very valuable to a lot of you who are thinking about LinkedIn, or are already on LinkedIn, but you want to up your game. We also want to know, what does that mean, right? What does success mean? For it's different things for different people. And at the end of this presentation, you need to connect with me on LinkedIn. I live and breathe there. If you do not connect with me on LinkedIn, I know who the participants are. If you don't connect with me, I'm going to take it as a personal insult. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So a quick thumbs up, Nishmita, from you. I guess you can see what I can see. Yes, awesome. Okay. Nishmita, I'm going to just minimize you so that people can see the screen today. Excellent. So we're going to be talking about the power of this fantastic beautiful, scary, mysterious platform called LinkedIn and everything that comes with it. So what we're going to do today is I'll have a brief introduction, even more brief than the one I just made, about myself, what I do, why it is that you need to pay attention to a platform like LinkedIn, right? I'm going to try and not give you the statistics that you already know. Maybe you do know. Like I said, it totally depends where you are in the journey, right? You could be miles ahead. You could be miles behind. It doesn't matter. So for me, today we're all on the same playing field. Okay. So why does LinkedIn matter, according to me? What are some of those myths that might subconsciously might be holding you back or your business back as far as LinkedIn is concerned? We're going to go and we're going to bust those myths today. Okay. What is the cost? Is there a cost of not being on LinkedIn? I think there is. There is a pretty heavy financial cost of not being there. There's a few mistakes that almost everyone makes, including myself, and I'm happy to share it in the interest of helping people. There's a little bit of time that I'm going to spend on my LinkedIn journey so that you can, relate with what I'm talking about, that a lot of this has come from learning, trial, error, experimentation, and it's still a journey. I love the fact that it's a journey. It's never over. And we're going to have a little conclusion. Okay. So before I start, I do want to say that everything I'm sharing today, almost everything, is opinions. There's very few things in the world that are facts. Yeah? We know the sun rises in the east and the sun sets in the west. Yeah, we have some facts. I know my date of birth. Other than that, everything else here is opinion. So whatever I'm saying, obviously take it with a pinch of salt. Take it, personalize it, customize it to your own context, because we're all different and we have different needs from a platform like LinkedIn or any other platform for that matter. So as far as I'm concerned, like I mentioned, I'm somebody with an HR background and have close to 2 decades of experience. But now what I do is career coaching. That's my jam. That's my thing. I'm a career strategist. Have lived in Asia, South America, Europe. So that's 3 continents, which I'm proud of and privileged to have had this experience. I did an MBA from INSEAD about 10, 11 years ago, and have had a very interesting experience of big, small, medium-sized companies, and the privilege of working with lots of interesting CEOs, senior executives on, helping them with attracting and retaining talent. And yeah, English, buenos dias, bonjour, and namaste are languages that I'm extremely comfortable with today. And incline, if anybody's here from South Africa, I think I saw that. Incline beetje Nederlands, maar Afrikaans. Yeah, I know that I'm level 1 in Dutch, but I love languages, as you can probably tell. My company is Supercharge, and like I mentioned, I work one-on-one with clients on different challenges they're going through in their career. Have had the privilege of helping people across from different regions. Okay, why are we here? Why are we talking about LinkedIn today? It's the world's largest, best, and by far the most relevant social network for professionals. Is it an opinion or is it a fact? For me, it's a fact. Yeah, for me. So it's an opinion, obviously. Nothing comes as close to LinkedIn as when it comes to professional networking, right? You have a few out there, wannabes, but LinkedIn is miles ahead of the game. You've got 675 million users. You've got 20 million companies, right? Out of these users, how many are sharing content? 3 million. So that's, if you do the math, it's less than 1%. Now I'd like you to guess before I put the next one in the chat, if you can comment, how many of these 3 million users in terms of percentage, how many of them do you think have actually ever written an article for LinkedIn? So if you're listening, put it in the chat. I'm interested to know what you think. I might open up the chat because I'm a little curious. Cat, that's what I am. 1% of that, 5%, 10%. Okay, that's it. Last call, 2%. Ramakrishnan, 2%, 30%. Okay. Who said 0.5? Lance. So the correct answer is, the correct answer is 0.2% have ever published an article. 0.2%. You're listening to this, you're like, okay, Sonal, we kind of knew this. It's a very cool platform, all of that stuff. Yes, yes. Okay, I'm going to say that if you knew this, then why aren't you there? Why aren't you doing more? You want to, right? There's some things that are holding you back, and we're going to look at that right now. Let's bust a few myths that exist around the world, in your friend circle, in my friend circle, in your brain, in my brain, when it comes to LinkedIn. The first myth is, this is a platform that's only for jobs. Is that correct? Yes. Is it only for jobs? No. People will give you all kinds of fuzzy, feel-good reasons why LinkedIn is so important. Yes. But what is wrong with the fact that LinkedIn is only for jobs? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't want to change that. You know why? Because it's a search engine. Now, you're watching this right now, right? You have a few things in your mind about what you do. You've got your service offerings. Chances are, if you're watching this and you know people in coach area, you're either a coach or you're training to be a coach. You might be a speaker as well, or want to be speaker. You might have written a book, right? I'm guessing or a consultant. These are kind of the profiles I'm guessing who are watching this webinar live today, 6th May, 2020. Okay. You want to be searched for those things. A job can also be a gig. You want to be searched for it. So many people don't think about the fact that LinkedIn is a search engine. So if I want to look for a speaker in Cape Town, I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I'm going to go to the search window and I'm going to write speakers, like you do on Yelp or restaurants near me and all of that stuff. It's a search engine. Yes, it's for jobs, but it's not only for jobs. It's also for connectivity. It's also for sharing. It's also for fantastic content. I know, but you know that. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you things that are very obvious to you. But I was chatting with someone today on the chat messenger on LinkedIn, and she's a family nurse. She wants to be on the field. Her heart is speaking. She wants to go and help refugees in Greece and Philippines. She's done that before. Saw her LinkedIn profile. She's never done. It doesn't say so. If it doesn't say so, how on earth telepathically is a recruiter going to know that she wants to do that? So it has to be mentioned in a way that when people are looking for those type of words, that type of a title, keyword, etc., that her name comes up. So I hope that helps you, that it's for jobs. And I've been headhunted on LinkedIn. Some of you watching have probably been as well. That's fantastic, but it's much more than that. Particularly when you go into the interesting world of entrepreneurship and you're a solopreneur and you're doing things by yourself, I do think you need all the help that you can get. Okay, the second myth that I think exists, and you probably will agree as well, is that LinkedIn is only for people in suits. These, stiff upper lip, buttoned up, fancy schmancy Hugo Boss type people. Yeah, there's lots of those. There's lots of decision makers on LinkedIn. There's lots of people with above average income and C-suite, etc. Yeah, sure. Is it only for them? No. And I'm going to explain why I disagree. I've got a few names of people and I want to show you. So look at this woman. I'm going to click on her. Hopefully you can still see my screen. Nishmita, you can still see my screen. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. I'm going to be very hands-on and get my hands dirty. Okay, there's this woman. She's in my network. Okay. Where does the network? Click. Okay, look at her title. Let's see. No, I don't want her banner. Thank you. You see her title? She's an anti-aging consultant. Anti-aging consultant. Is this a person in a suit and boot? No. I'm going to give you another example. Diana, she's one of my favorite creators on LinkedIn. She's always laughing. She's always cracking jokes. Sorry, what's wrong with the internet? It's a little bit slow. Okay, it's going to come. Patience. We breathe in and we breathe out. Anyway, so yeah, there she is. Look at her title, Joyful TEDx. Embrace the snort. When she speaks, she makes herself laugh because she's funny. And when she's laughing, she goes, okay, she's got this snort. So she sounds hilarious. And instead of being embarrassed by it, she's embraced it. That's part of her personality now. She's a comedian, for crying out loud. When I say comedian, okay, that's as far away as it gets from men in suits, men or women in suits, okay? And she's dancing. She shows up, guys. If you know her, then you know what I'm talking about. She shows up on LinkedIn and she's grooving and moving, okay? And people love it. So that tells you the third one. Interesting, different person, Treya. There's this woman who's based in Switzerland, and I'm going to tell you what she's doing. You're not going to, you can take a guess what she's doing, okay? You're not going to be able to come close to it. Unless you're connected to her, you're not going to know what on earth I'm talking about. She's a matchmaker. She helps, people of a certain income level to find love. How interesting. And she's killing it. Everybody here that I'm showing you are killing it. When I say killing it, business is coming to them through a platform like LinkedIn. So do not be seduced by that myth that LinkedIn is only for people with suits and serious and all of that stuff. Speaking of serious, the third myth that I think is holding many people back is that it's only for serious content. You cannot have a sense of humor. You cannot bring your personality. You cannot be weird, like yourself, not all of us are like cookie cutter, right? We all have a personality. We have a unique voice that we bring to the table, and sometimes we're weird. So instead of like hiding it, let's embrace that. And people who do that, who do it really well, 2 examples I can tell you very specifically. The first is this guy called Mark Gaisford. If you guys know or follow him, you know what I'm talking about. He is hilarious. Like, I see his content, he creates these hilarious videos and my day is made, okay? A couple of weeks ago, he created a song based on Hello, Hello by Lionel Richie. You guys, after we finish not right now, please behave. After we finish our presentation, go and see what he did. He made a song on Hello, and look at the engagement. Look at the engagement. People love that. People want, once in a while to not take things too seriously. Another example is Carrie. Carrie's a little bit more corporate, right? She works in a company, etc. But she is not using LinkedIn for that. What is she doing on LinkedIn? She's an account manager, okay? She's a serious person, but she uses LinkedIn to make people laugh. Like every single day, sometimes 3 times a day, she's on LinkedIn and she's cracking up jokes, and look at the engagement. She's making people laugh. Why is that? She loves doing that. She's doing her thing and she's killing it. So you can do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want. There's enough space. 675 million of us, there's enough space for everyone. So hope that helps you to understand that these myths that are, in your mind are, created over some perceptions and hearsay from friends and things that you hear about. All right. Any questions so far? Nishmita, I don't know if you want to do that or you want to do it in the end.
So generally, like if there is a relevant, like a question that's super relevant to what
Morning.
you're discussing.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that those 3 myths were so well lined out, because as you mentioned the first one, I was immediately thinking of the second, especially when it came to the second myth about suits. I thought about, the first thing that I felt about coming on LinkedIn was my language. I don't speak very formally, and I can't even if I had to, try.
Yeah. So, thank you for bringing that up, Nishmita. I also want to say myth number 4. I wanted to keep it short because I like, I don't know, I'm weird. I like odd numbers. I like 1, 3, 5. So for me, number 4 is like, it's hanging. The 4th myth that exists for people, many people, is the fact that if they are not native English speakers, which I'm guessing a lot of us are not, right? The 2nd, 3rd, 4th language for all of us brainy multilingual types. The myth or the discouraging thing for us is we're not going to be able to do well because we sound like we have an accent, right? You can do 2 things. You can show up, you can say stuff in English. There's many people for whom English is not a 1st or 2nd language. Like look at, I'm sure you guys know Oleg Vishnupolsky and Brigitte Hyacinth. These are people with like millions of followers. For them, it's their 2nd or 3rd language, okay? The second thing you can do is you can just show up in your native language. There's lots of people in my network who are posting content only in French or only in Spanish, right? And what is the cool thing about that? It's more niched, and I'm going to come to that in one of my tips. You have less competition the more niched you are. So if you're speaking only in French, you're only competing in terms of the algorithm with other native French speakers. For an example, as an example, people who show up and write content in English, it's a little bit more, there's more fish. People have more choices when it comes to scrolling and what they want to see. Okay, do. So that's as far as myths is concerned. What is the cost of, I don't want to scare, that's not my idea. I don't want to scare anyone, but I do want to lay it out there that those who are sitting here watching, listening, are lurking in the background. They go to LinkedIn every day. They like people's stuff. Once in a while, they might comment, but most of the time they don't even do that. And they're on the sidelines, right? What's the cost of being on the sidelines? There is a cost. You always see people who are not on LinkedIn. I'm sure you guys have friends and colleagues. They are killing it. They are very happy in their own world. They're making millions of dollars, and they have repeat clients coming in, right? So they don't feel like they need LinkedIn. Maybe you guys are one of them. That's fine. But then what happens with the scale? What happens? You want to expand more, get more clients, which is closely linked to a smaller network. You're depriving yourself of the pleasure, the honor, the privilege of serving more people with all your thoughts, your words, and everything that you stand for, your voice, and reaching through a platform like LinkedIn, reaching more interested people who want to listen from you. You're not going to be able to do that if you're not on LinkedIn, or let's say if you're not regular and if you're not posting things, right? Something else which is very interesting, and it definitely applies to yours truly, is the fact that probably some of you here will corroborate your journey pre-LinkedIn and your journey post-LinkedIn. As far as, some of us who are consultants and coaches, we have a rate. We could be doing per day, per hour, or we could be doing per, trimester, on a retainer or whatever. I have been able to, thanks to the power of having a stronger personal brand on a platform like LinkedIn, I have been able to command higher rates and higher prices because there is a perception. And the perception is this person knows what they're talking about by being on a platform like LinkedIn, and they're getting people to engage with their content. Of course, it's a journey, you have to start somewhere. And I say this to my clients who are job seekers, that it definitely helps them to command a higher salary as well. 100%, I'm convinced of that. The other thing as well is, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but when you meet someone and you're like, oh, that person's interesting, you go to their LinkedIn profile, there's nothing there. Like there's no photo, there's about section, there's nothing. And there's like basic information. So you don't really know who you're talking to, right? Or, you're about to meet someone and you check out their LinkedIn profile. It's a basic thing that we all do, that kind of background check. So it definitely helps to have a more trust with your audience. And finally, this goes without saying, remember I said it's a search engine. So if you want to have more proactive business opportunities or job opportunities, if you're an employee, you can do that, because when you have a strong magnetic personal brand on a platform like LinkedIn, if opportunities come to you, it's like you're a magnet. So there is definitely a cost, and I'm sure when you go back, you can monetize it. You can put it in your spreadsheet and say, what are the opportunities that I might be missing out on? I got called to the speaking event because I was on LinkedIn. If I wasn't on LinkedIn, what would have happened? And if you calculate it backwards, it's very interesting for you. Okay, I'm guessing no burning questions.
There are actually.
Okay. How do we address them, Nishmita? Is it now? Is it later? As you wish.
Yeah, shall we keep these to the end then?
It's just that as you wish, because I'm guessing if they're asking, it's maybe very relevant here. And
yes,
if we are in that train of thought, we might as well address it, because otherwise they might be like, oh, I have to sit till the end.
Yeah.
which I hope you do, but your call.
All right. So Ramakrishnan, first, I'll go in order. So from the previous section, he asked if the examples that you shared, do these people post content that are relevant to their specific business or just in general about business in general?
So the answer is they do both. Mark posts. Mark's very interesting. He's had a very interesting journey, and he's had to furlough his employees because of COVID-19, and he's made a pivot in front of everyone on LinkedIn. And he said, instead of doing marketing, recruiting for marketing, I'm gonna service recruiters. So he's made a massive pivot, and he's like, I'm going to help recruiters to have a stronger brand on a platform like LinkedIn. So does he post relevant content? Yes, he does. He does it with a huge dose of humor. And people who like that style reach out to him. Kerry is a very interesting opposite example of that. She doesn't need, when you're an employee, it's a little different mindset, right? You're not a business owner. So you don't need traffic coming because it's income coming or, prospects coming in. So she uses it more as a platform to create awareness, just to not take life seriously. She has a sense of humor, but she also talks about mental health because she has, she talks about it publicly that she wants to help people who are suffering, quietly in silence and they're lonely. So those are her. Is it business? No, those are her topics that she's decided to focus on.
All right.
Because remember, I said she already has a job. She's doing very well in her own company. So she uses a platform to channel some creativity that she's got.
Okay. But that does also, in her own way, like kind of build her brand, right? Personally.
It does build her brand. We all need a personal brand. We all have a personal brand, whether we know it or not. We do need a strong personal brand, whether we are an employee, a job seeker, or a small business owner.
Right. Next question is from Leah. She says, I feel my about section, sorry, one sec. Yeah, my about section is too long on LinkedIn. Should I make it more concise so that it makes an impact when people search my profile?
I love it. I love this question, and I'm going to come to it when I have some concrete tips that you can use.
All right. And there's another question on LinkedIn Premium. Would you like to get that now or later? It's just about whether it's worth exploring.
I've seen both. I don't see, personally, I don't see any benefit of LinkedIn Premium. It's a choice. It's a look at the pros and cons, see all the reviews online. I don't honestly see it's worth it. And there's even something else for, if you guys are business owners, there's something else called Sales Navigator, which is even more expensive. I think LinkedIn Free is doing a great job. There's a lot of reach. If you want to reach more people, sure, you can try Sales Navigator, but for me, the targeting hasn't been super impressive. So I wouldn't recommend it. Honestly, keep your money, spend a little bit more time. If you don't have the time, then sure, a thing like LinkedIn Navigator can help, but you also need like virtual assistants and all that stuff. So LinkedIn Premium, you could always try the free month trial. That's what I would do. And if you like it, then continue. If you don't, stop on the 29th day, 29, like literally the 12th hour. Okay, next question.
Makes sense. So the people mentioned are out of India. So does the same humor and being different apply to corporate India as well? Interesting question.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
So the examples that you showed were people who aren't Indian. So the person asking the question is asking if does that apply to Indians as well?
Whoever's asked this question, please think about it. Do people laugh in our countries, in all the countries? They do need it. Now more than ever, people need a laugh. Am I saying you need to show up and be a clown and look ridiculous? No. But there are people who show up on LinkedIn in India. I've seen a couple of them who used to have YouTube channels. They're coming up and they're creating funny content. The thing is, whatever you want to do, just do it in the way that feels natural to you. Okay. Obviously, you know the culture of the place you come from. If your if your viewers are more like local in a specific region, you are more aware of the cultural sensitivity. This will fly, this will not fly. But I was just using those examples to prove the point that those myths are, to be busted.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nishmita, I'm wondering, can you see me when I'm talking?
I can see you because of the way I viewed, put the
okay, but people who are listening, they can't see me.
They can depending on the way that they put this.
Sonal, everyone can see you. What is on the screen is controlled by the individual. It's not controlled by you or by Nishmita.
Okay, thank you. I just need to know so I don't embarrass myself if I know I'm on camera or not. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, there are a few about putting your credentials on your name. Oh, does that make a difference? Or does it?
Okay, I'll come to that because I have specific points there. When it comes to things like about section, your headline, your name, I can come to that. Anything else which is a bit more burning related to what we talked about?
Yeah, about articles, but I know that you have an article on this. So how can we increase reach of articles written on LinkedIn?
How can we increase reach of articles written on LinkedIn? Content.
Can I answer that because I'm a bit of a nerd?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you can answer it, Nishmita, but I also feel like it might derail a little bit. And if you can remember to park it and come back to it,
Yes.
because I want to get on with more stuff, because I want to, I'm very respectful of everyone's time.
Yes.
And I can talk about it in one of my parts where I talk about vanity metrics.
Yes.
Interesting word. And there we can talk about it. Nishmita, if I forget, will you please remind me, my dear? Yes?
For sure. Sorry, I went
Okay,
on mute and then
awesome.
spoke.
Any other questions, or can we go on? Burning.
Let's go on, actually.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for asking. I love how participative. I don't know, that's not a word. I love how whatever you guys are, participative. Amazing. Okay, I want to talk about a few sticky situations that do arise when we are on LinkedIn and what we can do about those situations. Okay, and they are all coming from personal experience, including this. Yeah, I'm sure you've all stepped and sat and had chewing gum everywhere. Okay, now this is a question that somebody asked, and I'm going to get to it right now. We need to keep in mind that LinkedIn is almost like meeting. When you connect with someone on LinkedIn, or when you show up with your profile, it's like you're in real life. Okay, do not think just because it's online that it doesn't really matter. So things like when you show up, having a picture is important. And now I'm going to get to those things which I call the Fab Four. Okay, and I'm going to get into a bit more detail so you know what I'm talking about. I hope it's okay to do this, Nishmita, because this is the only way to explain without, because otherwise it's too theoretical, right? And here, let's see. Okay, the Fab Four. What are the Fab Four according to me? It's your picture, it's your banner, it's your headline, and it's your about section. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I remember what I'm talking about. Oops, what happened here? Fab Four. Yes. Sorry. Pardon me. Fab Four. Yes. Okay. The first thing in the Fab Four, you can take a wild guess. When somebody comes on your profile, what is the first thing they see? It's your picture, right? There's proof of that. They've done studies, for candidates, job seekers. When a recruiter goes to a job seeker's profile, the heat maps on LinkedIn are checking it out, and people have spent the most amount of time on the picture. So please take it seriously. Please make sure that your picture is, up till your shoulders. Please do not put pictures with your champagne bottle, your dog, your cat, your, I swear to God, your kids. I've seen this is still like considered like human. I've seen crazy stuff where there'll be like a symbol of like a skull. Okay. You can do that if you want to attract that type of audience. But the thing is, why does it matter? As human beings, we connect with people. So your eyes have to be very visible in your picture, right? And my recommendation would be stand in front of a window. Right now, because of COVID-19, everything is closed. But even if it were open and you can afford a professional photographer, fantastic. Not all of us have, extra money lying around. So what we can do as well is these days, our smartphones are fantastic resolution. So stand in front of a window. If possible, I'm very specific, if possible on a cloudy day, right? Because why? The sun somehow creates aging lines because of shadows on our face. Trust me, but I know what I'm talking about. On a cloudy day, it's the closest thing to ring light, white light that these YouTubers are using on their face and on their makeup. And there's a reason they look so good. That light is very flattering. So do that, put that phone on your face, give a nice smile. People are, always engage with people who are a little bit pleasant, etc. So that's as far as your picture is concerned. The banner, by default, a lot of you will have this banner, which will be blue in color, right? It's a blue colored banner and there's nothing in it. It's got like network looking things and it's very boring and drab. Very simple thing that you can do to change that. How do you do that? Go to a tool called canva.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the best thing to happen, honestly, in the last few years since sliced bread. You go to create a design, you create an account, it takes you 2 seconds, create an account, and you go to create design, and you go to LinkedIn banner. I swear it's so simple. The work has already been done for you. So what's going to happen is the resolution that it's giving you is already a resolution which is good enough for LinkedIn. And you just have to make sure you test it out on your mobile and you test it out on your desktop. You need to test it out on both. Keep in mind, 58% of people on LinkedIn are on mobile. So you want to make sure, for example, your picture and your background, if you've written something, if you've got drawings or, your message, I help people to do this, or whatever's written, make sure it has to be legible, right? So it may be legible on your phone, but it may not be legible on your laptop. So just make sure that works. The question was titles next to the name. Okay, good question. I don't remember who asked, but I have a depends answer, right? Why do I say that? I personally am not a fan, my opinion. And why is that? I tend to engage a lot when I'm on LinkedIn. I create content once a day, maybe once in 2 days, right? But I engage a lot with people whose stuff I get inspired by, right? And they will not know I commented unless I tag their name, right? And many of us are doing that. We're going in there, we're commenting, etc. But you need to make sure you put their name. And by the way, that's a good mistake. Good thing I remembered it. It's a mistake I made in the beginning, and people were never replying to my messages, to my comments. And I would take like half an hour to come up with these comments. It would be like so driven with thought, and it was really thoughtfully curated, and I'd put that comment. There'd be no reply for like a week. So I reached out to one of these LinkedIn experts, and she told me, you weren't tagging their name. I'm like, seriously? Duh! Like that changed everything. And then people were like, oh, she said your comments are so nicely done, and then I'm sorry that they were not looking, but now you know why they weren't responding. So when you are being tagged, like let's say you tag someone's comment, okay? I don't want to take names here, it's not fair. But you see names with a title, it's part of their name, right? So Sonal Behel, career coach, MBA 2000, the best person in the world. I'm exaggerating, but there's lots of people who do that. So what happens is when you tag me by doing that, no thanks. When you tag me by doing that, you get the entire title. And it's a little long and it takes up more space, more real estate, according to me. So I'm not a fan. Why does it depend? There's somebody who's a LinkedIn expert, and I asked this question, and I said, for example, is it possible that when people are searching and they find people and they have this crazy long title, does the algorithm punish them because they're not in the search results? He said no, but he said he's not a fan of putting the title on the name unless the title is a huge part of their identity and it's a huge part of what they do. Okay, so for example, if there are 700 master coaches in India, 700, yeah, out of a population of 1.3 billion and counting. And if I'm one of the 700 MCCs, I'm going to put it in my name. I will, I'm proud of it. But if I'm an MBA, yeah, so what? Okay, if I'm an MD, medicine, what is MD? Doctorate of medicine. Yeah. It's a part and parcel of my job. Like it's a big part of my identity. You can put it if you want, right? Just make sure you don't put like frivolous things in your name. That's the way I would answer it. Okay, Fab Four. Picture, banner, headline. Now, headline is a great place. Remember, we said LinkedIn is a search engine. Like, think of LinkedIn like Google. So do not write cutesy stuff, okay? Casualty of COVID-19, full stop. Unemployed, full stop. Please don't do that. You're wasting precious real estate, okay? If this whole thing is New York City, this is freaking Park Avenue. Please, please, please make it count. This is Central Park West. Think prime real estate. Put the titles of the jobs or the gigs or services for which you want to be found, okay? I need to change mine, by the way. I need to write career coach because that's a word that people use a lot more, right? So you can see my thing is work in progress. So whatever it is that you want, MCC, coach, don't put just cutesy stuff because nobody is looking for how many casualties are there of of COVID-19 today. No, and you can be creative, but do that after you've put in those keywords, okay? The fourth thing is the about section. Now the about section used to be something like 2,000 characters. It's now 2,600 characters. So it's a heck of a lot of space. If I were you, I would talk about what I can do for you. Okay, this classic mistake is, this is me, you know. So you'll see people writing, when I was 6, I always wanted to climb Mount Everest, and I did it, and I did that, and I'm so awesome, and it's self-congratulatory. Fine, that's fine. They're not looking for interesting work, etc. If you want to be a magnet for all those interesting, you know, things, and you want to be called and say, hey, I saw your LinkedIn profile, very interesting, can we talk? You know, you want those kind of conversations, right? You want your calendar to be a little more booked. So talk immediately to your target audience. Imagine they are reading the about section. And I think you need to focus on who you are, what you do. But the what you do is very brief, right? Who you are, what you do, how can you help the person who's reading this thing? And number 4, always have a call to action in the end. Even though we all know that you have the contact information and everybody can do that, you want to reduce friction as much as possible. So have people, make it easy for people, right? So it's like, you know, hey, book, come, you know, click here, book a call, you know, get in touch, all of that stuff. I need to maybe change mine a little more. I thought I'll do it yesterday. I didn't get time to it, but it's more, you know, and this is also a great place, by the way, in the end, the last line, put all those keywords. Here, don't put more than 3 to 4, you know, titles and keywords, because we don't want it to be overcrowded. But here you can put all of those things that you want to be found for, right? And I like these vertical separator thing, because it's, you know, whether you use comma, whether you use vertical separator, doesn't matter. It just keeps it neat. And a pro tip, by the way, if you do this on your desktop, you have something like 100, 120 characters. Right? Each of this is a character. It's not a lot. If you do this on your phone, you get like 200, 220 characters. It's a way, way more. So in case you were wondering, why is it that some people have this crazy long headline and I can't? It's because they put it on their mobile. It's not, it's not that. So I hope this helps, Nishmita, as far as the Fab Four, which is your, you know, think of this as your front of your shop. It's your storefront. So you want to make it as interesting and memorable as possible. Does that help?
That definitely helps, especially the tip about the about section, where, you know, speak about what you can do for the other person and why they'd be interested.
And I will come back to that again and again and again today. Okay, awesome. The second thing, so this is the first thing. People forget that it's the first impressions count. Remember those Fab Four. The second thing people forget is, I'm sure you guys have been on the receiving end. It's me, 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 me. I want. Okay. There'll be people reaching out to you in your inbox. Hey, I want a job. Hello? I don't know you. You're like off the street, and there's a KLT thing going on. KLT. Know, like, trust. I know you, then I will like you, then I will trust you. You can't expect me to do something for you, or, you know, you do something for me. The trust you cannot fast forward, right? I'm, by the way, guilty of this one. I listened to a few podcasts and I was like, awesome. I would love to be a guest on their podcast. I would be so amazing. I reached out to these people. I connected with them. I'm like, I want to be on your podcast. Same reaction. Hello? I don't know you. You just came off the street. And I was like, what was I thinking? So be very mindful of this. Never lead with what you want. Okay. What does that mean? I'm sure you guys see sales pitches all the time, right? You ignore, you block, whatever you do. I've had people reach out to me saying, hey, you know, like maybe I engage with their content a few times. Hey, can you write me a recommendation? I'm like, I honestly don't know you. I can't write. So it's a little shady when people ask these type of things, or, you know, can you endorse me for these skills? It would really count. Like, if you've just interacted with someone, don't lead with that. Instead, flip it. Lead with value. How can I show up on LinkedIn? How can I help more people on LinkedIn? I'm going to do this 3 days a week. 3 days a week. How can I help more people on LinkedIn who are my target audience? Let me give away some of my tips for free. Just an idea, right? That's what I do, and it's helping me a lot. So go with that mindset. The third mistake is, you guys have seen it, I'm sure, posting and ghosting. There's two ways to address this. The first is, somebody posts, let's say you guys, right? One of you, let me see, take a name so it's easier because I know what I'm talking about. Let's see the most recent. Okay. Hey, Meenakshi. So Meenakshi goes to LinkedIn. She posts an article and she's like, I didn't get any engagement. That's not fair. So I'm not going to do this again. So you ghost, you disappear. That's problem number one. Mistake number one. Why? Because Rome wasn't built in a day. Mistake number two is, you'll see people who post, they'll put something on LinkedIn. They get a lot of engagement. Lots of people have commented. And the author of the post has disappeared, ghosted, right? Why do I think it's a mistake? I think it's a mistake because this is the first thing about consistency. Rome wasn't built in a day. When people have taken the time to comment on your post, do not just put a little like on their comment. No, if people have taken the time to write a lengthy comment or a little comment, take the time to respond saying, thank you so much for your comment, right? The only excuse to not do that is if you have 3 million, 2 million followers and you don't have the time. Okay, if you don't have the time, then you probably, if you have 2-3 million followers, you can have an assistant do that. My point is, people who show up and post and they disappear, I've seen that happening repeatedly. Why does it bother me? It shows me that they are in it more for, look at me, listen to me, how cool I am, but there's no conversation happening. And eventually what's going to happen is LinkedIn is going to penalize them for it. Okay, LinkedIn cares about engagement more than it cares about a like. A comment is, I think, gets top marks if you had to rank them. Comment, like, and share. Comment gets more marks, like gets the second, and share is the least. LinkedIn doesn't want you to share stuff all the time. They want you to share original content. That's what I think is going on. So posting and ghosting, if you've been doing it, don't worry, it's never too late to change. The fourth mistake that I think people make is there is an ego element. And I know this applies to many people, including myself. And I know it applies to some of my coaching friends as well. And it's like, yeah, firstly, that suited, booted people, and it's too fuddy-duddy for me. And even if I do show up, what am I going to say? No one's going to engage with my stuff. And I'm going to get like one like. I did it some time ago. I got like one like. This isn't about you. It's about the people you serve. Repeat it. Wherever you guys are, I want you to repeat it. This isn't about me. This is about the people I can help. The people I can help. I can make a difference. If it's about you, then it's a vanity thing. The ego and the vanity, right? And if the questions are more about, hey, how many likes did my last post get? It only got 10 likes. My God, I worked all week on it and I only got 10 likes. I'm not going to do it again. What does that show? That shows that the why was more ego driven. I'm looking for validation and I'm looking for validation outside as opposed to being secure in myself from within. Guys, this is a journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight. For me, it's been a journey. It's very discouraging in the beginning when people aren't seeing your stuff. The algorithm is not supportive, but it takes time. It takes time. You're becoming friends with the algorithm. The algorithm is becoming friends with you. So it's like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. So the ego thing about what if no one engages with it? What if no one likes it? What if no one reads it? Who cares? Do it for you. I mean, I know I'm negating myself because I did say you're here to serve people, but then take the ego bit out and saying, I did this to help my own self-confidence. Okay. Looking at the time. Oh my God. The fifth one is trying to be everything to everyone, right? There's lots of people who are, including myself, sometimes very eager to please and trying to make everyone happy. And I think I can do a better job here. Now here, what I mean is I have two segments that I would like to attract more on LinkedIn as far as my career coaching is concerned. One is more senior level directors, and second is people who are returning to work after a gap of many years, returners, right? I'm not segmenting my stuff as well as I could and have more content that's magnetic to these guys. So think, you've got your target. How can you be more focused on that target? Okay, I do coaching, but I coach men. Okay, I coach men above 35. Okay, I coach men above 35 who've had a finance background like me. Oh, there you go, bingo. Your guys are going to find you. They're going to find you. There is a way LinkedIn does that algorithm matching, all of that stuff. Another career coach I know, and she's amazing. She collaborates with many people, and people are like, hey, you're helping other career coaches. Isn't that competitive for you? Like they're competition for you. She says, no, I'm very different. I do more meditation type stuff. I do live meditations on LinkedIn. It's not for everyone. She says, I'm too woo-woo for everyone. And there's enough. So that's mindset of abundance is really important, that don't worry. There's no competition, there's only collaboration, but focus on something very specific that appeals to you. The riches, okay. All the Americans watching today are going to be like, oh yeah, the riches are in the niches. Now for the Indian, British, English person inside me, it's cringe-worthy for me to say it. So the riches are in the niche, okay? I'm going to say niche because it's a French word. Oui, c'est ça. So the more niched you are, the better it is as far as your targeting and your content is concerned on a place like LinkedIn. I know I said 5 mistakes. I like to over deliver. The sixth one is overdone really all the time. People are like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's still scary. I went to this webinar. It looks pretty good, but it's still scary. I can't do it. Okay, take a deep breath. You cannot run before you walk. You cannot walk before you crawl. How do you do it? Start very, very simple. And the simplest thing to do is go make a list of 10 people you admire. Okay, on the platform, go and engage with their content. Put a little like one day. You're feeling a little better, 3 days later, comment on something they wrote, something positive or something thoughtful that looks like you thought about it before you clicked, before you pushed send, you know? And over a period of time, they're going to start recognizing your name. It's great. You have a little bit more confidence. Okay, walk, write a post about something that, remember, we said not self-serving, something that you think can help someone. Hey, I had a client today and we talked about imposter syndrome. This is a very interesting lesson I learned. And at the end of the post, always have a CTA, call to action. What do you think about this? What would be your recommendation? Yeah, something obviously interesting, something that people can learn from. Do that. And run would be, okay, I'm ready to write a long, so that was a short form blog post. I'm ready for run would be, I'm ready for a longer article, right? Nishmita, when we talked about articles, it doesn't happen overnight. We have to muster up enough self-belief in ourselves. And those who are listening and who are coaches, you guys help people with self-belief, limiting beliefs all the time. And if you're hesitating, you need to put on your coaching hat, which is not easy, for yourself, and apply your, how do you say, get a taste of your own medicine. Think, what's going on really? Why is there a hesitation here? Is it the ego thing? Is it the myths? What's really going on? And the other thing, of course, is run is people say, yeah, I'm ready. For example, video, I'm ready for video. Is that for everyone? No, not everybody wants to do video. It's too much work. It's also not everyone's cup of tea. You do you, you do you. You do what's comfortable for you. Because people have this thing that, oh, everybody has to do video. Video is doing very well. Very few percentage of people are on LinkedIn on video. So my thing is going to be organic. No, it takes time, first of all. And second of all, not all videos are nice. Some are very poorly shot as well. And they're like, this camera's on this person's face and they're talking about it and you can like see through their nose. I'm like, what is the message there? You know, is it more self-serving? You know what I mean? So do something that feels more comfortable to you guys. Yeah, the overthinking thing comes back to the point that everything you want to do, everything you want to create has already been done. We're living in 2020, but it's not done by you. You're unique. You are très spécial. You are very special. So you have to speak up because you have a voice that nobody else does. Nobody thinks about it the way you do. Briefly, I'm going to explain to you about my personal journey on LinkedIn. 23. Okay, we have 7 more minutes to go. I've been on LinkedIn since December 2005. I was shocked when I found out because you can see in the stats in the profile section, but I did nothing with it. I did nothing with it. I think I opened the account when I was living in this little country here, Uruguay, and I did nothing with it. But it changed my life. How do I say that? And I want to be able to inspire you because in case this is something you can relate with. I was in Uruguay. I just moved. I'd been living in India and moved to Uruguay. I didn't know anyone. And I had this idea. There's this new platform called LinkedIn. What is this? I went there, created an account, and I was like, okay. After Uruguay, we moved to Chile, right? And in Chile, I was like, again, same thing. I don't know what to do. I can't get a job. There's no network, nothing. So I decided I'm on the LinkedIn search engine. If you go to the detailed search, like, okay, in my network, I'm going to look for, so this is how you can do that, right? Network. You go to network and you see this search. You can go to, I don't want to show everything here, but you can go to the search section. You can be like, okay, according to geography, according to detailed city and what they're doing, etc., etc. So I was like, okay, I want to see who's living here from Uruguay, and met this great guy and had lunch with him. His wife came along, and they said, oh, you're looking for a job. Okay, that's interesting. Nothing happened. Okay. 4 months later, I get a call from PricewaterhouseCoopers saying, we got your resume, and could you please come for an interview? And the whole interview was in Spanish, by the way. So I was like sweating like anything. I never understood how they got my resume. They never explained. And then I found out the guy who met me for lunch, his wife, her dad was a partner at PwC. And I was like, what? What are the chances of something like crazy like that happening? That resulted in me getting a very interesting job in a company where I'd never worked in consulting, in Spanish, in South America. What did that do for me? It made me suddenly appear very international. So when I was applying to business school and I was interested in INSEAD, I was suddenly very international. You see, I wasn't before, but because I'd worked. So there's this ripple effect that happens when you are on a place like LinkedIn and you get contacted, and crazy accidents like that happen. And that can be life potential. I know everybody says that, but it can be potentially life changing. So I did nothing with it. I was just on LinkedIn, to be honest. I did nothing with it for like 11 years, right? I said 2005. Yeah, till 2019, 14 years, I did nothing with it. I was headhunted by a couple of companies. I got speaking opportunities. That's great, but I didn't do content creation like the way I'm talking about. I started in January. I got access to LinkedIn Live and I started creating content as well, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And it's been super interesting. There's many ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. Firstly, it feels like a job in itself, but in a fun way. It's like a job that I like to do, Why have I put the picture of this book? It was part of my coaching journey. I don't know if my coach is watching, but she knows what I'm talking about. We had to do a book appraisal, and I did the book appraisal in the class as part of the coaching journey. And I also did the same book appraisal in a LinkedIn live stream. That was one of the worst times ever on LinkedIn. It was very, people weren't engaging. There was a couple of guys, there were some inappropriate comments, and they were like, this is really boring. And I realized this is not the platform. I shouldn't be doing this. People don't have that same maturity level, right? And I prepared so much. And there are times you appear and nobody shows up. And then of course it hurts, of course it hurts. And you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why bother? You put in all this crazy hard work and no one is engaging. And then you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's the ego talking in. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving and not be too focused by the downs. So a quick recap about what we shared. Does LinkedIn matter? According to me, if you still don't think so, I hope I've tried, I hope I've been able to explain a little bit according to me why it matters, and look at those myths, those 3 myths we looked at, and try and demystify them. There is a high cost of not being on LinkedIn. Remember those 5-6 mistakes we looked at together and saying, okay, where is it maybe that I could do better? And remember, everyone who you think is doing well on LinkedIn, remember they started somewhere. Not everybody starts here, right? And so do not compare your beginning with someone's top of the mountain. So as a conclusion, what I'd like to say is, if you're still not convinced, remember it's 4 things, LinkedIn. It's your business card. When you meet someone, I don't know if you still do it. I stopped doing it in 2014, the paper business cards, but if you're still doing it, it's like your business card. It's your resume. It's your website. It's your background check. When you're like, have you heard of this person? Who? You go to LinkedIn, you find out who they are, right? It's normal. We all do it. So it's all of those things combined. Make it work for you. Whether you're a job seeker, it doesn't matter. Business owner, you're an employee, it doesn't matter. You've got to make it work for you. You're like, but I'm not looking for a job. Yeah, but it's more than something for job seekers. Remember, that's the first myth. It's only for people who are looking for jobs. It's more than that. So you got to make it work for you. It can work for you while you're sleeping. Put in some work in the beginning, be consistent. I think that's the number one thing. And for me, I think that's one of the reasons I put this picture, consistency. It pays to be consistent on days that you don't want to do it. You don't want to show up. You just don't feel like it. Like after that particular incident, when people wrote mean comments, they're like, oh, that's boring. I don't want to show up after that. But you do it, and do it for the right reasons, but don't do it because it's, you know what I mean? It's not about you. That's my conclusion. And a little other conclusion. I know this is going to sound a little bit counterintuitive. I don't know if she's watching, but one of my coaching friends says LinkedIn is not for her, and I've done my best to convince her. And she says, mm-mm. She says, I want to be more active on Instagram. That's where my people are. I'm like, you know what? If that is the case, then you do that. You choose the one that makes sense for you. You do you. You show up in the way that feels right, whether it's on video, whether it's on short form blog post, whether it's by engaging in other people's things, a regular article. There's so many things. There's so many different ways to be creative. You do it the way you feel comfortable. Maybe it's not even on LinkedIn. Maybe it's other ways. That's fine. So that's it. Like I said, do reach out on LinkedIn and connect with me. I would love to follow you guys and we can help each other on our journeys. If you want to know more about me, that's my website, superchargeyourself.com. And I'm going to stop sharing. Was that okay?
Yes, it was really great. Like a lot of insights, I think, and there were a bunch of questions which, but out of all of them, I mean, since we're running out of time, we will, I'll send you the questions via email, and then for the audience listening, we'll have them answered and posted on our blog. So, and then publish it on LinkedIn as well.
Are you saying we don't have time for questions right now?
It's 10 o'clock, but I do want to ask you one question that came up, actually two, which go hand in hand. One from Michael and the other from Aarti. So Michael says, I just started coaching, so I still have my full-time job. How do I create a profile that speaks for both? And Aarti says, for a person
one at a time. Okay, so I have a full-time job, but I'm also coaching. Okay, Michael, you said?
Yes.
Michael, okay. So the question is, Michael, I'm guessing your employer knows that you're doing this coaching thing on the side, right? Because remember, LinkedIn is social media at the end of the day, so it's a public platform. So I don't know if he's going to answer that, but assuming he is, assuming the company knows that he's doing coaching, it's up to you how you want to approach the personal branding and the messaging. So there's people on LinkedIn who have a job, but they don't talk about that job at all, right? There's a few out there. So instead, what they talk about is whatever they want to talk about. And that's fine. You're not your company's ambassador that you have to only post stuff related to your company, Having said that, I've seen other extremes. No, I'm not a fan, but I know what some people do. They will, in their job description part, the work experience part of their profile, they're not going to write their company name. They don't want to be associated with a certain company, and they keep those things very separate. And they're like, opinions expressed are my own. My thing is, of course they're your own. Like, hello, you're not put your company's like name on your face, right? So of course it's your own opinion. So I find it a little bit redundant, but you're definitely welcome to try, experiment, and see what works, what sticks, and continue with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I offer a suggestion, actually, because we are at the hour, so some people will have to run. Sonal, there's lots of questions, and I have a bunch. How do you feel about you and me doing a LinkedIn Live maybe tomorrow or the next day or something like that? And that way people can come join us on LinkedIn Live, and I can ask you remaining questions. Are you up for that?
Yeah. So are you saying there's lots of them, that it deserves its own LinkedIn Live session?
I think so.
Because yeah.
Okay, maybe you can send them to me in advance and I can go through them as well. So
great. Sounds good.
Awesome.
So Takeshi Shmita, do you want to wrap things up?
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, Sonal, especially for being here and with that presentation. It clearly, like, you've put a lot of thought into it, and we really appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys. Oh, fantastic comments. Awesome. Great. Doctor, we have like a doctor here. So thank you for having me, and hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.